They never mentioned hookup fees. They never mentioned waiting fees, any of those types of fees. So everything was a surprise.
A possible towing scam is under investigation by the state attorney general. Complaints accuse Priority Wrecker Service of a bait and switch by quoting one price and then charging more, sometimes thousands more. Several of those alleged victims told News 2's Sam Clemente how it happened.
It was just ridiculous. Definitely took advantage of her.
This past April, Jessica says her grandmother used Priority Wrecker Services to tow her car off the side of I-24. According to Jessica, her grandmother was told she'd only be charged a mileage fee. But when the bill came, additional costs, like a $200 hook fee, were suddenly tacked on. Only cash or an electronic payment would be accepted.
And so my grandmother doesn't have cash. She doesn't walk around carrying $435 of cash with her. I'm sorry, that's all that we're going to accept. So he actually added on an extra fee because he waited for her to go to the ATM.
Jessica believes the company pays to have their website boosted online, meaning they're often the first choice that pops up if you Google nearby towing services. A complaint filed by Tennessee's Attorney General says what happens next is a bait and switch. The dispatcher gives people one price, but the company ends up charging more after taking someone's car or completing a service.
And I know that these residents are not going to get their money back, but it should be required that these businesses post their fees on a website and that they give accurate information when someone calls for a quote. They're taking advantage of people who are in a dire need. They're on the interstate, they're stranded, they can't get their car out.
Here's another example. A handicapped elderly woman claims that Priority Wrecker helped replace her flat tire on the side of an interstate. When the driver was done, he billed her nearly $1,500 for putting on her spare.
There should be a punishment for them and the people that they affected.
Neil Howard's father-in-law's car was towed some 20 feet, and they charged him almost $400.
You don't have the time to Google or do any further research, right? If your car gets picked up by someone, and it looks like a legitimate company, I mean, again, what you're put in a position that you don't really have another choice.
This complaint docket has victims from not just Tennessee, but Illinois, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, and so on. If you Google Priority Wrecker Services, several locations pop up in and around Nashville. I visited one location this morning, only to learn they're no longer there. I then called the company, and a manager called me back from a number with no caller ID. He informed me that their company had actually moved completely out of the Nashville area, but he didn't explain why. He said he was unaware of any complaints filed against them. Haley.